Hey, Walter Sorrells back with more tips for the knife maker. Today, making a blacksmith's Touchmark. So today, a quick project, high tech meets low tech, old tech, whatever you want to call it. Today, I'm going to make a touch mark. Now, touch marks are the signature or mark that's hammered into the surface of tools made by blacksmiths and knife makers. But the stamp or punch that's used to make the mark is sometimes also referred to as a touch mark. Whatever it's called, we're making one. Now, blacksmithing is one of the world's oldest crafts, but who says you can't throw a little high tech into the mix? So, the high tech part of this equation is the tool that I'll be using to make the touch mark punch, and that is my Touchmark CNC machine. The touch mark's going to be super simple, just my initials, and I'll do the design work in a popular CAD program called Fusion 360.
And this is about as easy as CAD design work gets. The only thing you have to remember is that the punch needs to be backwards. It's a negative so that the positive, the actual stamp that you're putting into your knife or whatever tool you put it into, comes out correctly. So for you CNC nerds, basically all I did was I drew a circle, extruded it to make the body of the punch, then drew the letters, flipped them around backwards, extruded those, and then added a little chamfer so that when they drive down into the steel, it sort of wedges in and you'll get a deeper impression. Other than engravings, where all I'm doing is scribing little two-dimensional outlines in metal, not very deep at all, this is the smallest thing I've ever done on a CNC machine. Certainly the smallest thing that you might say is kind of sculptural. The big tool, if you want to call it that, will be a 1/16 inch end mill, which is barely more than a millimeter for those of you in metric world. And then the little tool is a 1/32 of an inch ball end mill, which is to say it's about the size of a small sewing needle. Like I said, I've never done anything three-dimensional like this with these teeny little tools, so I have absolutely no idea how fast to run them. The 1/32 in particular to keep from breaking the tool. I've done some stuff with the 1/16, but nothing with this little ball end mill.
Quick note here, you asked and I answered. I've had tons of knife makers ask me about how they could get started as a knife maker, so I've come up with a free PDF that gives my top 5 hints for how to get started in knife making. A lot of people just don't know how to take that first step. Hey, I've been there, but I'll get you the hookup. Just click the link in the description for my free PDF and it'll give you all the information you need. Jumpstart your knife making hobby or career with these super useful hints. Like I said, totally free.
All right, let's head out to the shop and let her rip. Just to make sure I didn't do anything super stupid, I ran the whole operation on a piece of Delrin. That went fine, so I switched to a piece of 01 tool steel. In a perfect world, you'd do this with a high-speed steel like one of the M-series steels, which are designed for hot work. But I'm really just doing this for fun to see how it comes out. If it works okay, but starts to deform in the heat over time, I'll just make one out of M2 or something like that. I used what seemed to be pretty conservative feeds and speeds. Yeah. Still broke the 1/32 about halfway through the job. So I decreased the step down distance to just a nearly microscopic level and slowed the tool down to below an inch per minute. This is what Fusion calls a contour tool strategy, which is basically using the ball end mill to just creep around the perimeter of the letters, dropping down with each pass until a 3D shape starts to emerge. Man, was this thing slow. It took close to half an hour to run the thing. Now, I'm sure I could have done it a little faster if I'd really figured out all the ins and outs of it, but All's well that ends well. This really is as good as I possibly could have imagined it. Now it's over to the grinder to grind a little relief around the business end of the tool. This will help me position the tool better, as well as making sure that I don't imprint part of the body of the punch along with the letters. Then on to heat treating. I could do this in my heat treating oven, but I like doing things in the forge because fire. I'm letting it soak at around 1500-ish degrees for a few minutes before plunging it into an engineered quenching oil. And that should harden it up nicely. Once it's cool enough to touch, I'll put it in the heat treating oven at 400 Fahrenheit to temper the steel. And there it is. Let's try it out. Bam, literally. Everything went fine, so let's grind off a little scale and see how clean that impression is. The first thing I used it on, this chisel, I kind of muffed it, so I tried it a second time and hit it a little harder just to test it out. Came out great.
So believe it or not, I've been a bladesmith for almost 25 years and I've never had one of these. You know, my specialty is Japanese blades, which have a chiseled signature, so I just really never had a big need for one. But I do make Western style blades now and then, and so, you know, it was high time I finally got this fixed. Fun project on the CNC machine, nice little addition to the forge. All right, thanks guys, and see you soon.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and make sure that you click on that bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. Want to buy a knife from me? Check out my modern blades at tacticsarmory.com. Digging the channel? You can support our video making efforts on Patreon. You know, I've been banging away on these videos for like 10 years, so I hope you'll show some love for all that hard work. Link in the cards and descriptions. Finally, if you're interested in making Japanese swords, check out my full line of Japanese sword videos where I show how to forge Japanese swords as well as how to polish them and how to make fittings, handles, and scabbards. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.